Hi everyone, it's Library Linda, and I'd like to welcome you to this week's edition of Did You Know? Did you know, on May 30th of 1783, the very first daily newspaper was printed in the United States? That first paper was called the Pennsylvania Evening Post and was published by Benjamin Town of Philadelphia. By 1850, there were over 250 daily newspapers in the United States, and the peak for the newspaper industry was the 1920s, when there were 2,600 daily newspapers. Did you know that on May 31st of 1859, Big Ben rang over London for the first time? In October of 1834, fire destroyed much of the Palace of Westminster, which was headquarters for Parliament in London. The original design was to have a bell tower, but Royal Astronomer Sir George Airy insisted on a clock and that it have pinpoint accuracy. Then May 10th through the 11th of 1941, during World War II, 14 bombs were dropped on the House of Commons. But as you can see, the tower survived and continued to keep perfect time. Did you know, on May 31st of 1884, Dr. John Harvey Kellogg patented flaked cereal? Dr. Kellogg wasn't just a medical doctor. He was a nutritionist, an inventor, a health activist, and a businessman. He was also director of the Battle Creek Sanitarium. The flake cereal that Dr. Kellogg invented was for the people staying at the sanitarium. He called it granola because it contained grains. But it was his brother Will that used corn in the recipe and started the Battle Creek Toasted Cornflake Company that later became the Kellogg Company. Did you know that June was Audiobook Appreciation Month? When Thomas Edison first invented the phonograph, the first words he recorded was "Mary Had a Little Lamb." Unfortunately, the cylinder could only hold 4 minutes of a recording. Having audiobooks allows us to listen to a book while we're driving, showering, working, or taking a walk. So pick one up. You just might enjoy it. Did you know, on June 1st of 1980, CNN became the very first 24-hour news network? The cable news network was founded by Ted Turner, and its headquarters is based in Atlanta, Georgia. When it was formed, there were only 3 major networks that carried news regularly: ABC, NBC, and CBS. When it first started, 2 million homes tuned in to CNN. Now, over 90 million homes tune in regularly to the CNN broadcasts. Did you know that John Adams, the second president of the United States, became the first president to live in Washington, D.C.? Maryland and Virginia ceded land around the Potomac to form the District of Columbia because it was in the center of the new republic. President Adams moved into the Union Tavern in Georgetown on May 3rd of 1800 while he waited for the White House to be finished. Construction started on the White House in 1792, but it wasn't until November of 1800 that it was finally finished, and President Adams was able to move in. Abigail reluctantly moved into the White House, but she was not happy due to the primitive conditions of this new presidential home. Did you know, on May 4th of 1896, 32-year-old Henry Ford, who was an engineer at the Edison Illuminating Company, made his trial run in his horseless carriage? After 2 years of experimenting in a tiny shop behind his house, he came up with this design of a small frame, a small gas engine, and 4 bicycle tires. He called this the quadricycle. With his success, he was able to form the Henry Ford Company, which then led to him forming the Ford Motor Company. Did you know that June 1st is Say Something Nice Day? Say Something Nice Day was set up as a day to counteract bullying and the lack of civility and common courtesy. So remember, once you say words, you can't take them back. And as Thumper said, if you can't say something nice, don't say nothing at all. I hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Did You Know? and I hope you join us again next week. Until then, bye-bye.